Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of The Chord. Right this month on The Chord, we're talking about one band only, and that's been Coldplay. What is it about Coldplay that makes them so good? First of all, their music is so different from any other band, but also they came to a time when there were bands that were not playing good rock music. Radiohead was going to a different perspective. You had then bands like Oasis going through a different phase altogether. They were trying to experiment and figure out what was going on with themselves. Dubbed to be, or rather taken to be, the next Travis of their generation, Coldplay came up with what was amazing. They came up with a song called Yellow, and that too at the end of the 21st century, the beginning of the 21st century rather. They started playing music that's absolutely different. They had a new sound, a sound that nobody had heard before, and that's what made them famous. What do you call Coldplay? Do you call them a band that's come out of Britain that is playing Britpop, anthemic pop? What are they all about? Well, one thing is for sure, they are a band that knows their music because they know also what really makes them tick. Also, they have a pulse on what the people really want. But because of the fact that they came up with such an original sound in the beginning, when it comes to Rush or Blood to Your Head and Parachutes, albums that people loved, they also went to a negative downslide when people said that their formulaic approach was a little too stagnant for the masses. Eventually, they would go and do something absolutely different, play something that was different again. Well, definitely, because for one reason, they were playing music that was also anthemic, also operatic, at the same time had a lot of electronic synth along with it. Now, the difference about what these guys are all about, I'll tell you the reason why, because if you look at the kind of parallels that you have here, they went to University College of London. You go to University College here, you know what's going to happen to you. Well, that's just parlay that I'm giving you. But these four guys came together, they found they had the affinity to music, but they also realized they liked each other, and that's what really happens when you go together and start playing in a band. You need to first vibe with each other, and that's exactly what happened here. Now, Chris Martin loved the keyboards, had a certain affinity towards classical music. The other three had the affinity towards rock music, but they came together and they knew that this is what they want to do. Except one person, because the bassist was taken, the lead was taken, and also Chris Martin doing the vocals and being on the keyboard also knew what he wanted to do. But Will Champion, the drummer, had no idea what he wanted to do because he knew to play so many different instruments. He came into the group and they said, okay, we have only one portion open to you, and that is for you to be the drummer. And that's what he became of Coldplay. Now, it's one thing to have four band members coming together and knowing that this is the kind of music they want to play. But it's something else when you have a big record company coming helping you out. When the first Safety EP came out, only 500 were pressed. Didn't get too much of airway, nothing really happened, but Parlophone Records kind of listened to the kind of music they were playing and said, these guys are different. Hooked them up, told them, go into the studio and do what you have to do. They got Parachutes out, and then what happened? Coldplay was born. Now, what makes these four guys tick? First of all, they come together, they sit, they talk about what should be the progressive nature of their music. It's not that they sit down, they have a formula and they start playing. No, if you look at the kind of music they've been playing from the past to what they're doing right now, there's a big difference. Of course, they had a certain kind of sound that came out with Parachutes when they came out in 2000. Rush of Blood to Your Head also had a very deep feel to it. But then look at XY and Zoloto that came after that. It was a totally different mix altogether, different kind of music. But what happened was this. Even though they started changing the genres that they were trying to perfect, the band knew that they had one thing for them, and that was the kind of people who loved their music. Their fans never let them down. Now, what is that really makes them tick? If you look at Coldplay, when they came to India also, everybody just knew one guy, Chris Martin. Everybody else was just a part of the band. Is it because of the fact that Chris Martin has got such fantastic vocals, or just he's just a fantastic person? Not really. The persona, all four of them, is fantastic. On stage, the way they play sounds completely different from what they do when they are recording. The reason being because they know what the audience wants and their fans really vibe with them. And these four guys really know how to connect with the audience. That's what makes a difference, the connection. Well, apart from these four guys doing what they're doing, also the kind of music videos they do are so different. They experiment all the time. Maybe experimentation is what really makes them tick. Possibly that is what really helps them get their music forward into their fans. Because, of course, you have the lyrics that are there that are fantastic, no doubt. They're also pretty, well, psychologically impacting, if you call them that. The music also has a different kind of sound to it. For example, you go anywhere, you listen to Sting, you know it's Sting. Listen to Eric Clapton, you know it's Eric Clapton. That same way, listen to Coldplay, you know for a fact it's Coldplay. But apart from everything else, it's the psychological advantage that they have because they know that their music resonates with the people listening to it. And that is what Coldplay is all about. We've come to the end of this episode of The Chord. Catch me next week, same place, same time for more on Coldplay and what really makes them tick. This band is absolutely phenomenal. Catch me again on Chord, only on Rosebowl next week.